We're live.
All right. Welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of the CapmLew podcast. We will be looking here. That's the place to look.
Yeah, right there.
To
Got
go
it.
green,
Oh, the little
dot.
green
dot. We
All right.
flipped it.
Okay.
We flipped it.
It's fine.
So we've got the Facebook down here. We've got the Spotify up there.
Sponkify.
Okay, so first thing off, for what it's worth, welcome to another episode of the CapmLew podcast with me, your host, CapmLew, and co-host
Luke.
That's right.
Here I am.
We are here in the here and the now. For all of our watchers on Facebook who dip in on the live feed from time to time, the high quality is on Spotify, except when it's not.
Last time.
We have discovered that, you know what, these are the salad days.
Yes.
These are the salad days in which we find ourselves having to use the Facebook or just an audio off the Facebook. So
yeah, I actually figured out last time we tried to upload the Facebook video, but because it was so truncated by bad signal, it wouldn't process through.
Spotify literally rejected the Facebook live feed because we're not putting that garbage on here.
Really, guys, really,
it was literally, we're not going to put that garbage on our Spotify website because we're too good for that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good on them for it. I mean, what are we supposed to say? We were so excited that our quality was up, and immediately episode 2 on Spotify, episode number 70, 71. Completely corrupted audio because of an OtterBox and a $20 lav mic setup.
Yes.
What? I mean,
come on.
It's fine.
If it makes any of you feel any better, we actually bought 2 more sets of the lav mics. We're in it for the long haul, baby.
We went to the regional superstore of high-end electronics, the place where you go to build your computer.
Yes.
And in that place, we were met with a high degree of apathy.
Yes, dude, those guys are so dead on the inside.
We did. We were met with a lot of humor hours.
Yes.
And a lot of apathy theirs.
Yeah.
As they shrugged their shoulders and said, "Yeah, that might work," to a lot of really highly contingent technical questions on a budget that can't get a mulligan.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yes, dude.
So we just doubled down and bought 2 more sets of the same $20 mics that are now working perfectly.
Yes.
Although we did make one great stride forward.
Oh, yes.
You guys know how we were using this contact charger? Because we wanted to be able to charge at the same time as we were podcasting. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
We felt pretty special. Do you guys remember how our podcast got shut down because the phone got too hot from the contact charger for iPhone?
Yes.
It says, I don't know what brand it is.
It's a fast charger.
It says fast charger. Wireless charger. Made in, well, who cares where it's made?
Don't worry about it.
So anyways, there we are, right? We bought these new lav mics, and we were excited because we saw that they had a lightning charger pass through on the side of them.
Yes.
And boy, Luke, how did we feel?
Yes, we felt great. I was very excited. I thought it was a huge stride forward.
Come to the moment with us. We were at Chick-fil-A.
Yes. Beautiful.
And we were like, man, they have pass-through charging. So today I took the OtterBox off of my phone because I work in roofing.
Yeah.
And I don't see that phone lasting very long without an OtterBox on it. But so there I am, right?
Yes.
I mean, you're in the moment. Everyone's in Chick-fil-A with me. We were exultant that we had found for the same price a pass-through charge. Yeah, today we were plugging it in, and what did you see, Luke?
There's a charger on the old one that we thought was broken, which isn't broken.
What Luke is telling you is the exact pass-through charging on the mics was there the whole time.
The whole time.
Yes.
So while we were dancing with an electrical fire on the fast charger, there was a lightning charger on the dongle the entire time. I just missed it completely.
You know what? Because that's what you get.
That's hip hop, baby.
That's hip hop.
Yeah,
Jeez, we've got a tiger by the tail
it's
here
so
at the
true.
CapmLew podcast.
Ah,
It has been an interesting week for me because, anyways, I'm gonna tell you guys why it's been an interesting week in a minute. We'll unpack. But first, a word from our sponsor.
yes.
Except that I'll have to say it myself.
Go ahead.
We'd like to give a special thanks to Life Skateboards for making the skateboards that we ride.
Yep.
We make no bones about it. Life Skateboards is a cut above.
True.
You are dealing with the very self-same people who make your skateboard. When you purchase a Life skateboard, you can order custom dimensions, you can order all kinds of stuff. Get on lifeskateboard.com and get yourself a Life skateboard. Unregrettable quality.
Yes.
With inspiring character.
True.
Skateboards that are crafted the way a skateboard was meant to be.
Yeah.
By the people who already ride them, for the people who are gonna.
Yeah.
So, next time you're looking at the possibility of going in and purchasing some factory pablum, maybe check out lifeskateboard.com.
Yes.
And check out a Life skateboard. It's awesome.
You know what else I'm thinking about? Life skateboards is different than most places for multiple reasons, but one that I haven't realized until this moment, which is right in front of my face, is that if you wanted to buy in bulk, they're a manufacturer and like a skate shop. They're a one-stop shop for everything you need. So
you want 5 of them?
10 of them?
25 of them?
You bet you could get them.
Probably even get a discount.
You probably could even
get
a discount.
What do they call that? A break on the
exactly.
volume
yes,
discount.
A volume discount, exactly.
Yeah. Life Skateboards is not a wholesaler.
No.
They don't tend to make deals for you to have a brand. So stop it.
But it's always been my dream, Luke.
Yes, I know. It's always been my dream to own my own skateboard company.
Own it. Yes.
And at this point, I think we've gone a little too long without insulting everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and say out loud what you're all wondering. What are you saying? Here's exactly what I'm saying. If it's always been your dream to own a skateboard company, and you buy $900 worth of decks with a heat transfer that's manufactured almost always in China, you don't own a skateboard company. Because your company doesn't make skateboards.
That's
insulting.
It's insulting.
It's insulting.
On this episode of You've Just Been Insulted.
Yep. I think it's important for people to realize that a skateboard company is a company that makes skateboards. A skateboard brand, now that you do own.
Yes.
If you do those things, and if that's what you're doing, then you do own a skateboard brand. But if your brand is the same exact product as 300, 700, 1,000 other customers who are brands.
Yes.
Then, if you're proud as punch that you have a skateboard factory that's used by pros, I get it. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And we're not against you.
No.
But that's not the same thing as a Life Skateboards.
That's true.
Life Skateboards or Gluefoot or Wood Shop or any of these other smaller, what are they? I call them craft
yeah,
brands.
Craft would be good.
I shy away from words like boutique because they're French and people just don't get it.
They just can't handle it.
They can't handle the sophistication.
It's true. Sophistication.
But artisanal.
Artisanal.
How about this one? Bespoke.
Bespoke, dude. I got an artisanal skateboard. What did he hew it out of like a log of maple? It's hand hewn.
That's right. It was a hand hewn by the Amish craftsman Mennonite community.
My maker comes off the mountain every 400 years to hand hewn one skateboard.
comes with a 6x8x3 block of cheese curds.
And like a nice rocking chair, you
Yes,
know, the
right.
value.
Yeah, but we can't express our appreciation enough for Life Skateboards, for Sam and Casper working hard
It's true.
to keep you skating hard over at Life Skateboards. Get over there and get, if you already have a Life Skateboard, you don't need another for a long time, but you know what?
You could though.
Go ahead and get
Yeah,
yourself
go ahead and
another
do
one.
it. Yeah.
You got yourself a Stinger. Now go get yourself one of them Bombers or one of them Monster Pops.
Something nice.
Get a Barn Pop. Get a Barge. Go get them all. Get a Barge and get yourself some
Yes.
Tracker 215s.
Oh boy.
You got this.
Yeah.
Hey.
You
hey.
deserve it, friend.
Listen, trust yourself.
Dude, this is getting dark. This is getting dark.
Follow your heart.
Follow your heart.
Get a Life Skateboard. Get two.
Get two. Steal your mom's credit card.
Oh, no. No. There's no need. You have your own.
You know that you have your
If
own.
you're not old enough to have your own credit card, then you should still get one.
Yeah, it's fine.
A Life Skateboard, not a credit card.
Yeah.
So our high quality is on Spotify. You can find us at CapmLew podcast on Spotify. Just look up CapmLew. That is CapmLew. The way Capm is meant to be spelled.
Yeah, just as God intended.
CapmLew pod. That's right.
Exactly.
Now, here we are. You sent me a clip.
Yes.
Now you've done it.
Yes, I know.
I was in the roofing truck, zipping from site to site, just doing little repairs here and there.
Yeah.
With the boss.
With the boss.
I was with the boss.
Yeah.
And I played that little clip.
Yeah.
It was an Antweun Dixon.
Stop it.
What? I say it the way it's spelled.
Antweun. Yeah, okay. Now I'm with you.
I feel like people
sorry.
lack respect.
No.
Say someone's name the way it's
You're
spelled.
Right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Thank
Antweun Dixon.
Thank you, Luke.
Okay.
You know what? I accept your apology.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I was really worried.
Gracious.
Oh my gosh.
Gracious. So I was watching the Antweun Dixon thing, and it poses a question.
Yeah.
About at what point, where is the boundary of responsatrilatrance?
Yes, which is a great question.
I think that will be the episode title.
Yeah.
The boundary of responsatrilatrance.
I'll figure out the spelling.
It's spelled like it's always been spelled. Responsatrilatrance. Responsatrilatrance.
Oh my gosh, dude. You gotta show them that word.
They all know this word.
That's the most insane word I've ever seen.
This is this
Okay.
word. Responsatrilatrance.
What is it? The boundaries?
The boundary of responsatrilatrance.
Okay, got it.
When we look back in skateboarding's history, how outraged are we supposed to be?
Yes.
At the minders and keepers of the talent,
yeah,
for allowing them to allow their cheese to slide so quickly off the cracker?
That's a good question.
I have a lot of trouble with that question. The framing on the YouTube, on the GoobTube video, was that Antweun started making a lot of money. He had huge checks before he had ever even opened a bank account.
Or had a driver's license.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really young, I think.
He was young. So you've got this almost singular talent.
Yeah.
Really, really amazing talent. By the way, have you seen any of the recent Antweun footage?
On and off. I'm not super familiar, but I mean, he's a ripper.
I have been coming across video material, whether it's on the Tik-Tok or on the Instagram or on the Facebook. I can't tell because of my brain.
Okay.
But my brain tells my mind to tell me that I have been seeing new footage of Antweun Dixon.
Yeah.
And my brain and my mind both agreed and convinced me that he is an amazing talent.
Oh, he's incredible, yeah.
He is an amazing talent. I mean, he's now got to be well into his 30s.
Yes.
So PHP past his prime.
Past his prime.
So Antweun PHP is absolutely slugging it out of the park
Yeah, I'm watching his clips right now.
Incredible
this is insane,
style.
dude. Yeah, his style is really lopey. This is cool.
Lopey. That's a great
Yeah,
word
it's
for it. That's a
lopey, dude.
great word for
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome.
Lopey. Graceful.
Yep.
Graceful.
Yep.
If I were ever to flip my board again, I would want to flip my board like Antweun does.
It's so true. Yes.
But what I noticed, it stuck out to me immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It appears that he's had his tattoos removed.
Removed?
Yeah.
Did he have like face tattoos or something?
Did he have? Everybody, just right now, scream into the universe for Luke to hear whether or not Antweun had face tattoos.
I don't know, dude. It does. I thought it was a Band-Aid on his face, but it may be a removal of a tattoo. What did he have up there?
Every single thing.
Dude, I wanted to say something, but it would have
He had every single thing tattooed on his face.
Okay.
It was Lil Wayne level.
It was Lil Wayne level.
It was Tekashi 6ix9ine level.
No, dude. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and I don't know, but I've been watching these clips, and I just am picking up that I think this man has had his tattoos removed. I'm not sure.
I think he turned his life around. He went to jail, and then when he came out, he turned it around. And good for him, man. I mean, seriously.
Officially rooting for all of your sobriety.
Yes.
Officially rooting for everyone to crack the good book.
Yep.
And knock the gold leaf off the edges with a little bit of daily wear on that. And extremely happy that Antweun Dixon has come through. He seems to be standing tall, which is the only way that he can stand, because he is a very tall man.
He's like 6'6".
But
go ahead.
In retrospect,
yes,
what's the dealio, yo? Is somebody should we be angry at someone for the big mess that happens when young, unprepared for success people in skateboarding blow up, and then they blow up?
Yeah.
I don't feel like doing that.
No, but I think we're talking about the difference between responsibility and like the reason that something happens. And sometimes the two of those are different and not all one thing. Because it sounds like from the video, if we just take the video as fact, historical fact, then you can see that he was writing for companies that had a history of lifting up a lifestyle of dissipation and, parties and drug use,
alcohol,
and alcohol, just like it's spelled. And what's interesting is he even said he both took responsibility and laid some sort of blame. He said, I think that it really would have been different if I had stayed with different companies. Then he said, those decisions were mine, because he had a couple run-ins with the police. So I think
he had a run-in with the police every 2 weeks for like 6 months.
Yes, and then it didn't end well.
That's hyperbole.
Yes, right.
No, he wound up smashing a windshield.
Is that what he did?
With children in the car.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
he got in a fist fight, and then he smashed the windshield of the car with his skateboard.
Yeah,
with children inside the car, glass going everywhere. It gets in the eyes.
Dude, that sucks. Yeah.
So, not so fun. Absolute fact about smashing a windshield with someone in a car.
Yeah,
you're on the hook for glass in the eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so try and cut down.
Don't do that, because it sounds like he was writing for. What's SES shoes? How do you S shoes, and then he switched to...
That's a Soltec brand.
It's a Soltec.
It's based in France.
Really?
Yeah.
No wonder they have the stupid ES with
Pierre,
the apostrophe or whatever.
Not Pierre-Luc, the freestyler. Oh, I forgot his name.
Rodney Mullins.
No.
I got it, bud.
French freestyler. I was going to say Pierre-Luc Gagnon, but he's a vert guy.
Okay, there's another guy.
I'll remember later. It's fine.
It's fine.
But what board company was he on?
He was writing for Chocolate, and then he moved to Baker.
Yes. And it was with Baker where the mayhem really ensued. And that was Baker's heyday.
Yeah, when they put out Baker 3.
Baker and Death Wish and the Piss Drunk. Enjoy had Tilt Mode Army. I called Tilt Mode Piss Drunk in a couple episodes ago. The Piss Drunks were Baker.
Yeah.
Tilt Mode was you know what Tilt Mode means?
When your mode is tilted?
When you're...
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Right.
Alcohol.
it was during those days of skateboarding where the industry was run. They had wrested control
Yeah.
from the greedy claws of the fat cat class
Yes.
of capitalists.
Like 2005-ish.
Yeah, and they had gotten all that control to the skateboarders, who were largely skinny, athletic, highly motivated, heavy partying dudes.
Yeah.
And was not great.
Yes.
Was not great. I think it will. Presently, we're in a different age of skateboarding now. We're seeing the rise of the Japanese contest winners are coming to take it all.
Well, and you knew that was going to happen, dude. The Japanese just take something and they perfect it. I respect that part of their culture tremendously.
Honestly, as a culture, remarkable.
Yes.
Very remarkable.
Yes.
They are they are capable of impressive focus.
Yeah.
And determination.
I like that.
Culturally.
Yeah.
Impressive.
What was cool as well, just as like a
very high suicide rate.
Shh, hush now.
I know.
It sounded like from the video that Antweun, he was banging around with the Baker Boys as they were filming Baker 3, and they thought he was just going to put out a couple clips, and he ended up putting out a full part in like some short amount of time. Like he would get like 4 clips a day, where people were getting like 1 clip a week.
Yes.
So he was like an absolute shredder.
No, he would get multiple, like,
yes, bangers.
Not cutting room floor.
Yes. Like big old tricks. And he put out a full part in Baker 3, which is crazy. And he wasn't even on the team, it sounded like.
Filmed it in like a week. So they had to put him on the team, and then he started getting huge checks.
Yes, and then it just like exploded. And one of the questions the video was asking was like, you know, because this is not the first time that something like this has happened, not by a long shot. I think you could make an argument that happened to Christian Hosoi even, you know, or Gator. Yeah, all of these people whose lives just completely came off the rails because they were getting these huge checks.
Yep.
And their life just fell apart because they didn't know how to handle it. Like in the video, it said, "Oh, he didn't even have a bank account. He was just cashing the checks and taking the cash."
Yeah,
which is insane. Like
tax bills and all of the adult stuff.
Yeah,
that really very, very few of that class of professional skateboarding, skateboarding guys at that time had what we might call the wherewithal to handle.
Yeah,
that degree of cash influx, success.
And not only that, and I think this really backs up the San Francisco Standard article that we've talked about so many times.
We do talk about the San Francisco Standard articles on Jake Phelps. There are 2 articles in the San Francisco Standard. By the way, links to all this media are not in the description below. I haven't even found where the description below button is.
It's fine. But I can put it in the Spotify description probably, and it will go on the YouTube. The San Francisco Standard articles are in the YouTube description. So we should just find it.
We should just pin those.
Yeah, somehow we could probably pin them. Oh,
you know what I can't? Yeah. You know what I can't handle?
What
is when you start to base what you could call reporting. This is a form of journalism.
Yeah, which is cool.
Editorial. All of the things we're saying here. By the way, it's important for us to disclaim. Not that it'll make any difference.
Yes.
At the legal level, this is an opinion podcast. We're certified.
Yes.
We are certified, qualified opinion podcasters.
Yes.
Because we are 100% experts, PhD level in our own opinions.
Yes, cutting edge.
That's what this is. So now that doesn't help with the keep my name out of your mouth level.
Level stuff.
Sometimes we get correspondence that's something along the line of, keep my name out of your mouth, or this or that will happen.
Yes.
Now, we do have a response to that.
Yeah.
Is something along the lines of, tough noogies.
You mad, bro?
Yeah. Don't be a public person.
Yeah.
If you don't want to pay the price for being a public person, then stop being a public person.
Then don't be one, right?
The things we do and say in public become the domain of public opinion.
Yes. And discourse.
I didn't know that this was not well known.
Yeah, I guess not, dude.
Turns out it is not well known.
I know.
It is extremely unwell known.
Yes.
It is well unknown.
It is actually well unknown, yes.
That if you have a history of being covered in Thrasher magazine or any sort of thing like that,
yeah,
then you are, what do you call it? You are
fair game.
Yeah,
fair game.
you're
right.
fair game, and
Yeah.
we are as well.
I know.
Thing is, there's nothing to talk about. Couple of kooks in an upper sanctum.
I know.
You know,
once you're outside of the culture, you can do whatever you want, man.
I mean, once they've kicked you out of everywhere else is where you live.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude. All the in-between spaces.
The thing is that the in-between spaces equal just everywhere, since all the places you're kicked out of are places that you really weren't enjoying in the first place.
Yeah, it's kind of a win-win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because the video asked the same question and gave the same information about the fact that the skateboarding culture in general has been capitalizing on this crazy party culture that everybody loves to watch in the videos.
Yeah.
But it actually really ruins people's lives eventually, or has a tendency to, at least. And I think you're seeing that
one slice at a time. It takes the days of your lives.
Yes,
that's what that is.
Yeah, it's true with Antweun. It ended him up in jail. So it's a great question to ask, which is, well, who's responsible for that, and to what degree can blame be laid at the feet of the culture, or at Baker's feet, or and to what degree is it completely 100% Antweun's responsibility? It's a both and.
It's funny you asked. To what degree?
Yeah.
Is it completely 100%?
Yes.
But that's not a matter of degree.
I'm from the Midwest. All right, that's how we talk. Just you get it.
There is no degree to which it is completely 100% anyone's fault or responsibility. These kind of things that go on.
Yes.
However, there is great profit in discussing these things.
Yes.
When we discuss these things, there is a great amount of perspective and profit to be had for the participants and the readers and the listeners.
Yeah.
So now, one of the problems with Antweun Dixon is I was not paying attention to Baker during that time because Stu Graham was around.
I know. Come on, man. What do you want from me?
I wasn't going to watch Baker videos because there were still clips of Stu Graham to watch riding for Creature.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel what I'm saying?
I don't want to waste my own time. Yeah, I get it.
And I was too busy catching up on anti-hero camping videos.
Yeah, right.
At the time that Baker was big, and I really loved, there was a brand. Did you ever know this brand called Bacon?
I do know them. Where is that? What is that? It's in the back of my mind.
Bacon was a brand along the lines of Creature.
Okay.
Kind of Hesh.
Yeah.
Hesh back law. When Hesh was a thing.
Yeah.
And the Northwest.
Yes.
Style.
Yep.
Was hitting.
Yep.
And that was where my eyes were. I was more tracking the culture. That was back when park footage would never be accepted in a Thrasher video and stuff like that, and we were loving the parks.
Yes.
And we were going park to park to park to park to park and just skating every single day with people in multiple cities.
Yep. And
having such a grand time, knowing that the whole time that the editorial staff of Thrasher was going and that was fun.
It burns me.
Yeah, because we were rebelling against authority, but the authority that we were rebelling against was the editorial authority that that narrowed skateboarding down so hard during that time. That was late 90s, early 2000s till probably 2010.
Yeah.
Probably 2010, 2012. I mean, the round wall in the parks and the Salba and the articles like that we're going to Salba remains kind of, he still gets love in the culture.
Yeah.
Well, the resurgence of the old men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what we're really the lens that we're looking at it through is through the resurgence of the old men.
Yeah.
And the old men, in my opinion, they raise the chances of children and women having what we would call just a good time.
Yeah.
I don't like framing it in terms of safety and danger.
Yeah,
However,
I would prefer that. But
the resurgence of the old men has affected dynamics of safety and danger.
yes,
There have been issues. I don't like the present conversation about safety and danger because I think that it's just levers for power.
yeah,
But seriously, if you tried to harass a young lady with some of these old guys at the park, it wouldn't go well.
yeah. I bet even Andy, if Andy Roy was at the park and you were like doing some sort of nonsense with a lady that was there, I bet he would say things like, "I can say what I want," and how about we go in the parking lot? You know what I mean?
Which I
I love.
do.
I can't help but love it.
I have
And it's interesting because Antweun is like, he's probably 35. He might even be closer to 40 now.
Wow.
And I mean, 2005, he was probably 16. That was
Yeah.
15 years ago, more than. You know what I
20.
mean? He's probably
It's almost 2025.
yeah, he's probably almost 40 or 35 or something
Wow.
now. You know, like he has a lot of life experience behind him.
Yeah.
And it's also I'm interested in your commentary about the fact that there's an aspect of his dialogue now about these things where he really feels betrayed by all these companies because it sounded like they were like, "Oh, we have your back, we have your back," and then he went to jail and then he came out and it was like wasteland.
Yes.
Like nobody. And I don't think that that's the case now. I think he rides for somebody and he's totally clean now. I think he's getting his act together, which I'm really happy for him about that. But um, I think right when he came out, it was like all these people who loved him and really lifted him up were just gone. They had kind of sucked dry the value that was there and then had moved on. You know what I mean? Which I can see in a business perspective, like this person isn't useful to conjure business, and I don't think that that's totally evil in all ways. You know,
No, it's very disappointing.
it's disappointing, you know, but not evil, and it kind of goes against the idea that skateboarding is a family because
It's
it's not, and if it is, it's a horribly dysfunctional one and one that you should probably like stop contact with for like a year to kind of find yourself, you know.
Skateboarding is fun for a girl and a boy, but it is not a family.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know the ins and outs
Yeah,
of all the things that got said in private
yeah,
along the way,
absolutely.
and it's important to extend the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah,
or even to just ask out from even having to pass some sort of a judgment on
yeah,
the way things happened.
sure.
Instead, what I think is more forward moving is to ask this question, because I've seen now Baker did a lot of damage as a brand
Hmm.
to the young people, kids, big kids around me
Sure.
by encouraging uh, alcoholism
Yeah,
and casual drug use.
yeah.
I just ran into a report on a study this week that said that people who use marijuana habitually more than 2 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
2 times or more a week,
Sure.
are off the charts vulnerable to falling into some serious syndromes,
Like,
schizophrenia,
oh wow.
um, bipolar disorder, stuff like that.
Sure.
Guy doesn't remember exactly what they were, but raised an eyebrow and went in my save file.
Sure.
I'm not sure that that report is true. However, I have a lot of friends who smoke a lot of marijuana,
Yeah.
and as a guy, I look at what's going on there. And if one of those friends is listening and you think I'm talking about you, I'm probably not. But if the shoe fits, wear it.
Yeah.
Overall, I see them as rendered very fragile
Mm-hmm.
in their later age. They're rendered very fragile. They're rendered less capable of persevering through difficulty,
Yeah.
much more volatile under stress.
Yeah.
That's just observational. Remember,
Yeah.
we are experts in our own opinions. And I see them getting hollowed out I see people being hollowed out by the continual recreational use of psychoactive substances that are shown in clinical trials to have
Yeah.
some serious effects.
detrimental effects.
I'm just saying, cannabis is an amazing medicine, evidently by some accounts, for things like certain cancers.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Evidently.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know if it's for sure. I'm not a clinician.
Well,
I just play one on TV.
even like my sister had cancer, and she had to do with her gut, and she had a really hard time eating, and so she would
Digestive
use
problems.
cannabis oil to make
Right.
her hungry so that she could eat, and it was
Right.
helpful to relieve anxiety in the moment and the stress that she was feeling, and
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera.
It's a very helpful medication for the terminally ill.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are amazing uses for cannabis,
Yeah.
as well as the products of hemp.
Yes.
Hemp would completely revolutionize our paper industry.
Yeah.
It would cost a lot of billionaires a lot of money
I know.
because it's so much cheaper and it pollutes so much less to use hemp.
Yeah.
There's so many things going on there.
Yeah.
Very ugly how the hemp industry was closed down in our country.
Yeah.
But it's another ugly thing, however, is the ignorance and the self-indulgence of our culture.
Yeah.
In regard to the use of cannabis recreationally.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great choice to do that.
Yeah.
And then we get brands like Baker and Bacon.
Yeah.
And we get brands like that want to advertise on that. They want to, capitalize on that.
Yeah.
They want to market on that.
Yeah.
And it's real bad for kids.
Yes.
Well, all right then. You're gonna have that.
Yeah, you will.
I'm not saying that shouldn't be allowed, but what ought to happen is it ought to be talked about. It ought to be talked about with intelligence and grace.
Yeah.
But it ought to be spoken to with some firmness of disagreement.
Yeah.
Instead, what you get is a cultural authority system that just crushes. And that's been kind of sucky. Boy, we're really getting it on the Facebook.
Dude,
today.
That's what I'm saying. We got to get
Facebook is sucking today.
We got to get a different router for you.
Oh man, we're dying over here on the technological front, but we're powering through.
We're
because
powering through.
The Spotify is much better.
Yes.
Or
it's not
a lot worse.
It's completely worse. Yeah.
We don't know.
It's fine. Check it out though.
Yeah, check it out.
I was thinking about, as you were talking about that, I was reminded, I was going through our YouTube uploading videos the other day, and I saw a quote from one of the episodes, and I was actually able to find it in my notes that I take. So episode 53 is the episode we did about pharmakeia, and at 1 hour and 8 minutes, you said, any therapy that only solves peripheral issues is not an effective therapy.
It's certainly not a cure.
It certainly is not a cure, and I think that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Yep. We also said in that episode, we're saying what we're saying. We're not saying what we're not saying. And it was like really
people are going to come on here and they're going to listen to everything I said about cannabis, and they're going to say Lew's against cannabis.
Yeah. I'm like, no.
Whatever. You know what? CapmLew questions at gmail.com is also a great place to send not your questions, your hate mail, and your snarky remarks, and also to dunk on us and mic drop.
Yes.
We love it all. We drink it like the tears of, what is the lamentation of their women?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
He got biblical.
So, no, that's Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Conan the Barbarian.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Look, it's a Fickle Skateboards pen.
What?
Fickleboards Ltd. Yeah.
Yourwebsitehere.com. That's sick.
Yeah, that's great. So it was interesting. What I think is that I think there's a degree to which maybe people will wise up and have a little more integration of what we've learned along the way.
Yeah.
Pass it up. And for all the brands out there that want to capitalize on us being stolen one day at a time, our lives away from drugs and cheap garbage, pseudo spirituality, we'll just not buy their stuff. Just stop. We'll stop buying their stuff. Yeah. And we'll focus in, as far as skateboarding goes, on great skateboards. Yeah. And fun skateboarding for us. Yep. I think that our our culture might mature past the hero worship phase.
You really think so?
No, I don't.
Okay, because
but
I definitely
I
don't think
thought
so.
it was worth saying.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
I like the optimism. I hope so.
No.
I mean, it is good to have good heroes. Here's a question: is there a hero
My heroes
in skateboarding that you look up to or think is really cool or really like their ethos in an overarching sense? Is there one that you're like, yes, everything that this guy does, I'm super down with?
No.
Okay. Is there one that does like 80% of the time you're into it?
Corey Romiser.
You know what? I'm writing it down. It's going in the ledger.
Corey Romiser. I skated with him last month.
Yes.
And I saw in Corey a skateboarder of some talent.
Yep.
And lots of style.
Yes.
Who embodies the gentleness, respectfulness, kindness that I think are exemplary of a solid human being. There, I said it. Corey Romiser.
Wow. We'll put him on blast.
You don't know who he is, and he's fine with it.
Yes.
Skateboarders who would be my heroes.
Or somebody that you can look up to, right? Or want to emulate.
I don't have one.
Okay.
I feel very disappointed about skateboarding as a people. I feel very disappointed about it because the high-profile skateboarders that are lifted up as our examples are often exhibiting tendencies that will lead us on a road to perdition.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dissipation and ultimately perdition.
Yeah.
I don't see. I still don't see skateboarding lifting up the really interesting people. I'll tell you one.
Okay.
Pete.
From Pete's Pigs.
Pete from Pete's Pigs.
I know.
The guy never learned to ollie.
I know, he's a joy.
And he absolutely shreds.
I know, dude. How does he been down that low? I don't get it.
He is exemplary of a person who loves skateboarding from a place. Obviously, Pete has a larger life going on than skateboarding. And he has chosen his style. There's the other guy. I forgot what his handle is now. His skateboarding is amazing.
Roller skater?
Rollerboarder. Rollerboard?
I think it's roller skater.
Yeah.
That guy shreds.
Rollerboarder.
Is that it?
He used to be leftover skate hermit.
Leftover skate hermit. Yes, dude.
He's a fun skateboarder to watch. And I have his skateboarding seems to say to me that there's way more going on in this person's life than riding skateboards. I like that.
Yes.
Fun to watch a person of talent.
What about Jim Gray? Are we about to put him on blast right now?
No, not about to put Jim on blast, but Jim occupies that place. He dissented from the mainstream.
Yeah.
He critiqued the mainstream culture really well.
Sure.
But Jim, and this isn't to detract, Jim living in California where he was, I can see that he survived.
Yes.
He was able to, I know he runs Inc. Genda, but in California, a guy has got lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
And it appears that Jim has done well.
Yeah.
And that stands against him.
And for that reason, I'm out, Jim.
Anybody who does well in the California mainstream, nah, we're done. No, I'm joking.
What about Ray Barbie?
Well,
that's Sam's idea.
So I look at Lance Mountain and Ray Barbie, and I don't see the kind of dissent.
Yeah, sure.
That I don't see the kind of boldness that says, "Hey, we're kind of killing the children."
Yeah.
You know, skateboarding's mainstream media engaged in a trajectory that I consider to be akin to, like, killing the children.
Yeah, I know.
I really think that they sold the kids down the river.
Yes.
I really do.
Hey, real quick, do you want to connect the iPad to my hotspot?
Yeah. Let's do it.
One moment.
Let's see if Luke's iPhone turns up there. There it is, Luke's iPhone.
Okay, the password is 8 1s. No. Literally just the number
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Absolutely stalwart. Like they're connected.
We are looking,
worse, dude.
We're on the verge of a revolution in password technology.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
as Luke's password for his hotspot is 8 of the number one.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes. Okay.
You know what? I know what all my passwords are going to be now.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Whatever the field length is,
yeah,
it's
that's just
that
one.
many ones.
I'm just saying, dude.
And it autofills the dashes,
yeah.
so I'm good.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
So skateboarding's mainstream for some 30 years has been just playing the kids into a slide off of the world.
For money.
For money.
Yikes.
This is worth looking at. When I watch a Cater Silla interview on the bunt, okay, when all the bunt holes and bunt wipes
that's what they call them. That's their words, not ours.
That's what they call their fan base, bunt holes and bunt wipes.
Which is honestly a redeeming quality in theirs, I think.
At least it clarifies where the intellectual levels are set.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But I'm just, wow, the bunt.
Yes.
I played some minutes worth of the bunt for a skateboarder today who I trust his judgment, and he said it proclaimed that this is the number one skateboarding podcast. And after listening to 2 minutes of it, he said, this is the worst podcast I've ever listened to in my life. And I thought to myself, spoken like someone who's never listened to the CapmLew podcast.
Dude, I got one worse than that.
Yeah, well, we can top that.
Yeah, right. We got you beat the bunt.
No, here's my problem.
Go ahead.
I have a chip on my shoulder about the Ray Barbies and the Lance Mountains, and it's not necessarily a heavy one.
Yeah, sure.
And I think they could answer me this. Those guys have, I guess, worked to provide an alternative through their example.
Yeah.
And their enduring presence as they cooperatively remained in the industry. But what really, for me, what I really admire and respect is when someone stands up and says, hey, I just noticed we're doing something that's actually kind of evil. And I think we should at least be talking about it.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's kind of me.
Yeah.
I think we should at least be talking about it because this is kind of evil. And what I didn't see over the decades that I've been skating, working in I've been in ministry.
Yeah.
I've been in the world.
Yeah.
I've Narcaned a fool. You know, what I haven't seen and what the San Francisco Standard articles really bring home, I haven't seen the likes of. Now, Jim Gray.
He done did that.
Like, he really set in on it.
Right.
And I really do admire that.
You know who else did that? Is Andy Roy, to a small extent.
I'm interested. Andy Roy does that from time to time, but he sort of phases in. Yeah. And then he sort of
He's
phases
not a reliable
out.
character in any way, it appears.
But yeah, I catch a very Mexican American vibe from Andy.
Oh my God.
Where sometimes I think he's in relapse.
No, it's true.
You know,
yeah, absolutely.
And I love you, Andy.
Me too.
And I'm rooting for your sobriety, but I don't care if you lose skateboarding and you lose all this adulation and fame, and you know it's not getting you anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
Scandalizing the innocence of children, introducing them to substance abuse, and you know no.
Do you think that Andy does that right now? Would you make an argument that his example right now is setting that for kids? I know historically, yes, for sure.
I haven't seen Andy's latest work necessarily.
Okay. Because my feeling is that that's not the case, at least now.
I would love that to be true. However, I just pulled up the 2022 and 2023 Peastone Invitationals, as well as a 2022 Skatopia thing. And? I'm not liking it.
Dang it, dude.
I'm not liking it. What I'm not seeing is, look, it's one thing to be sober of spirits. You know. Yeah. It's one thing to be off the crack pipe. Yeah. Which is a great step. But to be sober of mind, to take into account. This also speaks to our beginning with Antweun Dixon. Antweun. Is, you know, great, I'm going to have a skateboard company. It's always been my dream. I'm going to sponsor a bunch of guys. Well, you're going to take responsibility for their public example? No. You know, are your guys that you sponsor? I'm going to have a skate shop. We're going to have a team. Well, when your guys show up and they shove down a bunch of people and they knock over a bunch of people, and are you going to kick them off the team and get some sweeter dudes? Are you going to raise the level?
Right.
Are you going to raise the frequency?
Yeah.
Or are you going to lower the frequency? And
Yeah.
the thing is, there's a lot of money to be made off of lowering that frequency.
100%.
The money is faster and it comes in more regular if you lower that frequency. One thing about Ray Barbie and Lance Mountain is they obviously live at a higher frequency. I'm using frequency as an image, you know, and they're living at a higher frequency, but they're not changing, to my view, the frequency around them in an institutional way.
Sure.
That's not meant as a critique. They know in their conscience what their part is to do, and they stand or they fall to the degree of their conscience before their master.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
That's not my deal.
Yeah.
I just get more stoked when people are working to change the frequency.
Yeah.
So, like when I read the welcome, the intro, like Welcome Skateboards, and I read our mission at Welcome Skateboard. Now that's frequency changing material.
Yes.
You know, and they're not Christians.
Yeah, and are they? And
you know,
I asked the question: are they consistent with that mission? I don't know.
Nobody ever is.
Yeah, and I don't need total consistency, just a good faith effort.
But
and a good question to ask is like, does because it appears that both Ray Barbie and Lance Mountain, at least to a large degree, have decided not to be in the major skateboarding lane and are doing other things. Especially Ray Barbie. I don't even know. He probably still skates, but I think most of his content is just music, you know. But there is an argument to be made that with the fame comes with a certain aspect of moral responsibility, in my opinion.
No, it does.
Do you think that's an objective truth? I think that's quite subjective.
Well, I think we find out whether or not that's an objective truth when we stand at the judgment after we die.
Yikes, dude. Yikes. Yeah, so just take that.
TNP. Take no prisoners, right?
No, I'm with you.
No quarter given.
I'm 100% with you.
When you stand before the judgment seat of God, when you die, you will find out whether you were responsible for what you already knew was the right thing to do. You knew that it was the right thing to give guidance and help to your young riders. Now, I don't know whether they tried to. I don't know what measures were put in place in private to try to help. Maybe, but the thing is, if you've got a young person that's absolutely set on disaster, and by the way, like when you have a rider like Antweun Dixon and you don't kick them off the team when they get in trouble that persistently and at that degree with that kind of example going out to the youth of your community, you're blowing it. I mean, blowing it. What were you thinking by not? Because you do two disservices. The first you do to the people who are taking in that example. And that is massive. And while the results of that might take ages to develop and finally crash on the beach, the ripples of that, they are serious and widespread for at least a few people. It's almost like they're like, if I can just corrupt one person, it will all be worth it. Seems to be the motto of that kind of decision. But the second level at which that's terrible is you got a guy like Antweun Dixon in here. You're cutting him 10, 15 grand checks. He's taking him to a check cashing place because he doesn't have a bank account. You say to him, dude, you need to have a bank account. You need to have this. If your team manager is not available to set that up for all the guys, you need to get an assistant team manager.
100%.
Spend some money to take care of your people. It shows a tremendously neglectful disposition toward the human resources. Oh, we're a family. We're a family. We have to have a unanimous vote on anyone who comes in the crew. You know, oh, that's great. You have a unanimous vote on whoever comes in the crew, but will you help them set up a bank account or save for a deposit for a proper apartment or finance a car or any of those things? And if a person won't take that help and they continue to get in trouble and continue to put out that terrible example, kick them off the team. And that's where that really helps them because then they go, I used to have all this, now I don't have it. And they maybe wouldn't have to wind up in jail before they have a value judgment within themselves to say, I had a lot, I lost it. How can I get it back? And it's not after spending 2 years in jail.
No, dude. No.
And we've got Terry Kennedy in jail right now for a lot of this. If they'd gotten some tough love. And skateboarding, the industry wasn't giving tough love.
No.
There are people who needed tough love who didn't just go to jail for a year or two. They died. and we've
Yeah,
got to grow up.
the argument, because I can see, if I steel man their argument, it's a really poor steel man, but I bet that the thinking goes something like this. Well, that's just their decision, man. Like, I'm going to let them do them. That's a dumb argument.
Well,
that's a dumb argument.
It's at that point that there weren't a bunch of podcasts that were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
At that point in our history, we didn't have the ability to self-publish this kind of critique and this kind of conscience out into the marketplace of ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, CapmLew podcast is getting as big as Thrasher magazine.
Oh my gosh, dude,
we are reaching. We are. Hey, get us on Spotify, all you guys.
Yeah.
Sound keeps cutting out. Everything keeps cutting out on
fine.
Facebook.
I know.
Hey, we only do a Facebook feed to let you guys know that you can get the real thing on Spotify. In fact, we ought to cut it out after 15 or 20 minutes.
I know, but it's cool to watch people skeal through the comments.
I do like
stuff.
we're going to keep it.
Yeah, it's good.
This is how we make decisions on the air.
Yeah, on the air.
Our entire decision-making process is on the air, and it shows.
And it shows.
It shows.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Dude. Yeah, so...
I really like where your head's at. I mean, one of the...
That's a bad sign.
Well, one of the stories in that video we're talking about is a team manager for a shoe company, I believe, literally giving Antweun a car, like giving him his car, and Antweun just got in it and used it without a driver's license and without insurance. Totally mind-boggling. Such a bad idea. Please do not do this. What are you thinking?
Part of me is jealous.
To be able to get the car or give it?
Because I used to be 15 years old.
Okay.
And inside of me, there's still that young man.
How is he doing?
He's almost dead every day because I poison him with the truth about life every day.
Based in amen.
Yeah. And I'm based in, I love that word. I'm based in an understanding that wisdom keeps that kid in check.
Yes.
But I get it, man. It's heady times when you're a team manager and you're able to give away a car and everyone thinks you're great.
Yeah.
But I read here I think it's in Luke chapter 6. It might be 12.
Get it.
I read in here, and it blows my mind. It's in Luke chapter 6. I read, woe to you when all men speak well of you.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Yeah.
Woe to you when all men speak well of you. I can't see where exactly it lies on the page right here, but it's heavy.
Luke 6:26.
Yep, there it is.
Right there.
Woe to you when all men speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. And I just think it's a really bad sign. It's a bad direction to make decisions in our life based on the approval of our peers.
Sure.
This was core to the formation of our culture and our industry culture.
Yeah.
There's the skateboarding community, and that's just people who show up and are riding their skateboards. There's really not a lot of problems with that. No. That's the easiest part. Then you've got the skateboarding industry culture. These are the people who tell you what skateboarding is.
Yeah.
Their fundamental bottom level ultimate mission is to pull every dime out of your pocket that they possibly can.
Right.
This is huge.
Yeah.
Your heroes all work for corporations whose mission it is to trade goods for money.
Yeah.
And what that means is you then begin to sort them into their proper categories. So what I look for in a relationship with a community that wants to trade me goods for money, I look for the quality of the goods and the value of that quality versus the price. And I begin to make decisions about my relationship with them with a skepticism that's always looking at the value of the quality they're offering me.
Sure.
All right. So I don't look to corporations to tell me what to put in my body. Marijuana, pills,
Yeah.
like that. And any corporation that encourages me to be irresponsible in those ways, or to drink and drive,
Yeah.
or I don't tend to go with, but you know what? When it came to Baker, the history of Baker,
Yeah.
people just swallowed that down,
Yeah, full on.
all they could.
Yep.
And like, oh, Lou, I heard you liked Creature. Yeah, okay, I get it. I get it. A lot of weed with Creature, a lot
Yes.
of lowbrow culture with Creature. But the thing is, I started my own company, pressed my own boards, because that's not good enough. And that's why I'm lined up with Life Skateboards, because when it comes to skateboarding, I want great skateboards made by people who are about the skateboards.
Yes.
And whose overall story arc
Yeah.
doesn't land me dead on a couch of an overdose.
Yeah.
And doesn't land children dead of an overdose or in a car accident or some of this tomfoolery.
Yes, right.
All right.
Yeah.
So, but I'm thinking like a grown-up, because my 15-year-old, he's chained up in the basement. He's jealous of getting a free car from a team manager and having everyone speak well of you.
Yeah.
Until everyone abandons you.
Yes, as soon as you go to jail.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's what we find out. We
Yep.
find out it's a very low value
Yeah.
situation when everyone affirms you
Yeah.
and you have low character.
Yes.
Well, welcome to the planet. It's really rough, but
Yeah.
you're going to have to work on your character and your integrity.
Yeah.
You're going to have to learn how to have a bank account and pay taxes and to be a really smart. Now, and you got like Andrew Reynolds gets sober.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm kind of a burn it all down guy. I am.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm like, if you founded it on in sobriety and you named it after an active in sobriety, Baker,
yeah.
Right? And then you found sobriety.
Yeah.
Go the whole way and go against it.
Yeah.
Like, call it out harder. Now, Andrew may have done his work.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with all the articles. I've read some and they pleased me.
Yeah.
But I think it's time to take off the kid gloves and just to admit that we are not. No, dude, we've built too much on the sand of, well, there's another one. Well, he's making money, so he must be doing something right.
There it is.
No, not going to do it.
Yeah,
not going to
absolutely.
do it. So when it comes to what is the boundary of Responskatrilitrance, I think that it is an inexcusable thing for a professional brand to behave in the way that the brands all did, almost all of them,
yes,
toward the behavior of their riders.
Yeah. I was thinking about, you know what I'm thinking about? You know what I'm thinking about? I watched this interview with Mr. Beast, which is really funny.
Oofta.
I know. Because I'm interested. He's like #1 biggest YouTuber, blah, blah. But
weird.
They asked him, hey, when you give somebody $1 million, like, what are you just giving them the money? Like, what happens with the taxes? I mean, this is there's actually a lot of stuff that goes into receiving $1 million.
It can ruin a person's life.
Literally. And he said that's what they found, is that it was kind of destroying people's lives. So now what they do is they hook them up with an accountant.
A financial planner.
Yeah, a financial planner.
Yeah.
And they give them the tools that they need to pay the taxes and make sure that everybody comes out square. And he used to pay the taxes so that they were getting a square mil or 100,000. Now he lets them carry that burden. But you can see, like, that's the kind of thought process that a person goes through when they're saying, hey, I want to do something cool. Okay, how do I actually make this happen in a way that's sustainable?
Yeah, I've got a rider, and he can put out 4 printable clips in a week. He can film a part in a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a car.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, he's in jail. And you're like, well, that's too bad, and have nothing left to do with him. I don't mean to take a big dump on the team manager. I mean, everybody back then was trying the best of what they knew.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they didn't know a lot.
Right. Well, today's a new day, man.
Why? Not only that, there's a lot of value in looking back.
Yep.
and taking stock.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to do kind of a pretty fierce moral inventory.
Yes.
You got to get ruthless.
Yep.
And say, man, I'll tell you what, skateboarding as an industry culture
Yep.
has been way off.
Predatory.
And what bothers me is the glad handing, here's a word,
Go ahead.
sycophantic.
What does that mean?
Simpering, cowardly yes men.
Yep.
The simpering, cowardly yes men of the skateboard industry community are at the heart of Tony Vitello's words in the San Francisco Standard articles about the passing of Phelps.
Yes, absolutely.
And it behooves.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. We're on the hook to really take stock of that as we move forward as just a skateboarding community. Yeah. And it was our media that led us astray to some extent. Yeah. Many of us were just tolerant and affirmative of the media.
I don't know which one's worse.
Well, being tolerant and affirmative of the media is like kissing the ring.
Yeah.
Kissing the ring. Why? Because all the power was in the media. And what was the media if not just an indirect purchasing catalog for the corporations? Yes. And I'll tell you, come off of those corporations and buy your skateboards from people who make them for you. Yeah, it's crazy what just that. I mean, you can't come totally off the corporations because you need your Indy or your Ace or your Tracker trucks,
or some wheels or whatever,
maybe some Thunders you need your wheels. I'll tell you, Skate One is a real winner.
100%.
Yeah, because Skate One over there at Powell, one thing they haven't done is they haven't circled this toilet bowl. Yeah, and gone down this drain. They just didn't do it.
I mean, one thing they do you think? From my perspective, they haven't been real vocal about the things that we're talking about.
No, but within their lane, Skate One has largely, nobody's uncritical, but they have largely stuck to making great skate products.
And that's it.
I mean, that's largely what Powell. Yeah. Whether it's Powell Reissue, Powell Peralta, Bones,
right? Yeah.
Skate One has been about making the products that you need at the highest quality and value level. Yeah. And I mean, there's an example in our industry, by the way, who got no love from the mainstream San Francisco-based powerhouses of media. Yes. There's no powerhouse at all. Yeah. Those guys are on a shoestring and barely holding on because they're the ones who worked for decades to keep girls out of skateboarding, to keep longboarding out of skateboarding, to keep round wall and park skating out of skateboarding, to keep freestyle out of skateboarding. You still don't see slalom. It's popping up everywhere, but you're not going to see slalom. Yeah. These are the guys whose conventional wisdom taught you that those guys are kooks and blah, 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 blah. We could have all had more and better of it if we'd been a little bit more of what we brag about, a little bit more rebellious against authority, especially corporate, mainstream, douchey retail authority. Yeah, if we'd all been just a little bit more wise, if we'd valued ancient wisdom a little bit more in our lives, we would have seen through this. Yes. But we didn't.
And I want to be clear about my position, and I think it's your position as well. You can tell me if you're wrong, but I'm sure that it is, which is that
I am wrong.
I don't mind ad copy. I don't mind people running a business and trying to make money. No. I don't even mind.
No, take my money.
Yeah, I don't. There's a degree to which I don't mind the lifting up of a really antagonistic and like outlaw, antisocial, like style of skateboarding, right? Like I understand why we have done what we did. Yeah, exactly. I don't mind the skate and destroy.
I have a skate and destroy tattoo.
Yes, like I don't mind like skate or die.
No.
In general, you know what I mean?
Because it's supposed to be held with a certain degree of irony.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
Right.
And I don't.
We're not arguing that nobody should charge for the services and goods, but what we're arguing is we're not actually arguing against brands at all.
No.
We found ourselves in this place because you asked me about
Yeah.
Well, then who do you look up to?
Yeah.
And I kind of answered,
no one.
Sort of no one.
Right.
Because you can hear me lift up Powell as an example.
Yeah.
But what Powell has done is not heroic.
Yeah.
They've offered products of value for right pricing.
Yes.
That's not a heroic act.
No.
Their perseverance in doing so has been remarkable, because really Thrasher was set against Powell forever.
Yes.
And I think that Thrasher was set against Tracker, was set against Powell.
Yeah.
And Tracker trucks don't love the geometry. The fact that they're making them, I guess I respect that. I like Larry Balma, but he's not part of Tracker anymore. He's well retired, and good on him. You know.
I don't even think I mind the fact that Baker is a thing and is doing what they're doing.
No,
and
you're going to have that.
You're going to have that. What I've minded is that there's been no discussion about it, and anytime there has been, it's like you're a kook. At the same time, I think there's a strong argument to be made that we make sometimes, which is like, then start a podcast, then start a brand that doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm happy that we're bringing a level of discourse into the community, because I think that it really needs it. You know, I don't expect people to be moral powerhouses.
No, we're not.
You know what I mean?
We're not.
If you want my respect, which is a very small thing, then you will lift up things like, I don't know, monetary responsibility, or trying to help somebody out, or putting a good faith effort into making sure that people don't go to prison or
at least not actively corrupting the innocence of children and their endocrine health.
Yes, 100%. Is that really that big of a deal?
It turns out that's actually a bridge too far.
It's a bridge too far, baby.
Here's a question.
Go ahead.
No, it's not a question. This is going to seem weird.
Okay.
We're not arguing for the eradication or subtraction of these historic mistake machines.
It's true.
We're not.
No.
We just aren't giving quarter to their ideas. We're not giving approval to them just because they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we're lifting up, Luke, what you did well there was, we're lifting up that, no, it's time for new additions.
Yeah.
And maybe these additions, like we're doing, will lift up to you new alternatives.
Yeah.
Life Skateboards is a new alternative.
Yeah.
But Powell and Skate One is, we're also lifting up long-standing pillars of, you know, like I say, it's not a moral thing, but it's a relatively solid ethical success story that Powell made good products that you can buy for good price, you know, good enough pricing. I don't know, you know, I didn't know that it was going to get like this, that where when you want to listen to a skateboarding podcast, that you're going to have, you know, you know,
oh, what up?
You're going to have to be, you're going to have to be a bunt hole or a bunt wife.
I want to.
We're very critical.
We are. That's because we're disappointed and angry and mostly sad.
Well, you know,
I care about people, man.
We're kind of dragging those guys. And that's partly a function of us being sort of jerks.
Yeah.
But the kind of jerk that we are might be worth paying attention to. It's true.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
We're not the nicest and best people.
Right.
We're just as inconsistent as anyone else. But guys,
come on.
Seriously.
I know.
This is the #1 skateboarding podcast. This is indicative of what
cultural decline.
Yeah, moral decay, cultural decline,
right, and atrophy.
Where you know, when I get an interview, and we're not worried about how few people want to have an interview with us.
Right.
We want to talk about the things we want to talk about, and we want to say what we want to say.
Exactly.
When I listen to the Cater Silla podcast, I have an ocean of youth in my mind.
Yeah.
Whose heads are getting spun.
Yeah.
At how cool it is to be this irresponsible, this dumb, to do this many dangerous things. I see the footage from Woodward, and I think this is actually a cascading, long-term disaster.
Yes.
Of example.
Yes. 100%.
And I'm not interested in the Christianization of the world or like that. I don't. Sure. I know for a fact that it is a very personal thing where people land on whether or not they want to kiss the ring of the Son of Man.
Right.
I get that. And I 10 out of 10, highly recommend it.
Yeah,
11
100%,
out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
but what I can say is that this was irresponsible. This
Yes.
was damaging
100%.
to the innocence of youth.
Yeah.
And I know about this kind of cockroaches. When you see one, you've got 100.
You've got many, bro.
Someone
Right.
flicks on the light and immediately,
right.
Yes.
Right.
And I think that skateboarding has been a buzzing hive of corruption and garbage,
Yeah.
and lots and lots. And I don't want to expose all this terrible stuff, but it gets exposed.
Yeah, and honestly, I agree with you, and really driven with the best intentions in mind. I think largely, I mean, a lot of these guys just love skateboarding. They wanted to have a brand. This is what they've been doing. Heck yeah, we're gonna make some money doing this. Yeah, this is just what needs to happen. And what I would love, the best case scenario in my mind, would be to see companies like Baker come out and say, "Dude, guys, wow, okay, it's been a trip. We're taking some moral inventory over here and realizing we have made some kind of critical errors, and we'd like to just say that we're sorry." And or not even that, they could even just say we're just moving in a different direction. That would make me pleased. I'd be even more pleased if they would maybe publicly apologize, but that's, I think, a bit too much.
Can a brand legacy survive an apology for the core of their messaging?
Well, here's the deal, though. I don't know. I think yes, and even more than survive, I think they could thrive. The mistake that I see a lot of people making is, I had success in skateboarding. That means I need to continue to do exactly the same thing that we've been doing and double down. When in reality, if Andrew Reynolds had come out and said, you know what, partying and going to jail is fucking stupid, and anybody who does it are idiots.
Yeah, that's a little stronger than what he said. It's
strong, but if that's what he had said, I guarantee that large portions of the culture would have looked at that and said, well, that's my leader. This is my demigod. This is the priest of the religion that I'm a part of. I'm going to follow him. You know what I mean? If skateboarding had suddenly gone straight edge, instead of people saying, yeah, I got sober and that's good for me, but it's just kind of my thing. If somebody had come out and said, no, I got sober and I think drugs destroy your life,
you should be too.
Like, a lot of people would have followed them, and they probably would have seen great success.
That's where,
my opinion,
that's where a lot of the examples in skateboarding, who basically they were the kind of people who could have said that.
Yeah.
But instead they were nice. They were agreeable. They played nice.
Yes.
With that.
Yeah.
But I understand that to be that person meant the end of your career.
I think that not necessarily. I see what you're coming from, and
that's
I
the
agree
reasoning.
To some extent.
The thing is, there are things that are worth more than other things.
Hold up, really? Stay with him.
And
that's a roller coaster.
I know, guys. There are things that are worth more than other things.
So true.
And some of the other things are things that you really want to have.
Yeah.
And you fight really hard to get them. Once you got them, you really want to keep them.
Yeah.
But the things that are worth more than them are worth so much more than them.
Yeah.
That you really should lose those things, or at least be willing to risk those things, in order to have the other things.
Yes.
The Bible says, "What would it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul?" A wise man once said, "He is no fool who gives the thing he cannot keep to gain the thing he can never lose."
Yes.
Sinead O'Connor once said, "I don't want what I cannot have." No, that's not. That's not part of it. That's not part of it. But the thing is, it's very hard when you have a tiny bit of fame, a little bit of respect, a little bit of the limelight, all the bro hugs and the high fives and all of that going on, and you've got this, like, it seems like it's everything.
Yeah.
And plus you mix in some substance abuse, some recreational substance use. You tell yourself, that there's no problem with it.
Yeah.
You guys are brothers.
Yeah.
It's family. It's, Supreme is a family.
Dude, okay.
Baker is a family.
Yeah.
Death Wish is a family. Unanimous vote. Team manager gave him a car. That's how much love.
Yeah.
All this love. We got this love in the house. Let's go. We're getting buck.
Yeah. Right.
All this. You know what? You're not just taking recreational substances. You're also taking the drug of false worth.
Yes.
Those things aren't worth that.
Yep.
It's gonna leave you high and dry eventually and possibly ultimately.
Yes.
And it's time to dig down and get some bedrock in your life.
Yep.
And what we're seeing is it's one thing, people are people. They're going to do what they're going to do. There's not a lot you can do. But what we're talking about today is, but we have an industry, a media and production industry with big corporate money. And now we've got, we've got these venture capitalists.
Yeah. What was the one that bought that company we were talking about?
It's called like
Action Sports,
Blammo Action Sports, or whatever.
Walmart, yeah. Right.
And you've got this. It's very sick and it's gross. When you look at this, you feel sickened by it.
Yeah.
So people look away.
Yeah, but don't.
Don't.
I see why you're doing it,
but
don't.
Be sickened.
Yes.
And embrace the suck of realizing that when you weigh your branding heroes next to your dead friends, you're looking at an equation that is extremely important.
Yeah.
And if you're unable to make a value distinction between your branding heroes and your dead friends, which many of our listeners are unable to make that distinction.
True.
If you're unable to make a distinction with integrity, but in that, and be sickened and say, geez, man, I don't like the way I feel about that. And then enter into the sadness of that process and come out with some maturity and some wisdom.
Yeah.
And you may find out that you can no longer be agreeable with your heroes and your mainstream. You may find that to be the case.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
That's good. That's personal progress.
Yeah.
Most people just, nope, I'm done. I'm not doing that. These were my heroes. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I want to say that is not respectable.
No.
It's not good enough.
It's understandable, but not respectable.
I understand it.
Yeah. I love you.
It's not good. Not for me.
Yeah.
But for you.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, even in your life, like skateboarding is such a small.
It should be
a
small part of your life.
It should be a fun thing that you do a couple times a week with your buddies, and it's awesome.
It shouldn't be your life.
But even like this is the concept you're talking about is so important and has huge ramifications for the way that a person's life is going to go. I mean, it's hyper critical that we have the ability to look at something and say, is this more gooder or less gooder than the other thing? And okay, I've made the decision it's more gooder, so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to stick to it. And not only that, but maybe if somebody asked me about it, I might tell them that I feel that way, and I might have reasons why. You know what I mean? Like, gosh, man, it's really, 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 really important. This is like the stuff of deathbed regrets.
I can't get past what I've watched unfold.
Yeah.
In the life of some of these public people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good for any of us if people look away from this and just accept it as good.
Yeah.
I don't have a chill attitude toward watching a kid get attached to a skateboard company and then watch that kid become a young man who can't put a sentence together.
Right. Or who drives so inebriated.
Yes.
I'm like,
underage drinking,
yep,
while driving a car,
yep,
and smoking marijuana.
Yep.
You show me that one time, I'll show you a brand I'll never buy another product from ever again in my life.
100%.
You show me that all together, and that brand doesn't knock that person right off the team and immediately introduce to them a consequence, especially for a 16-year-old rider. And you are looking at an inexcusable failure to be, it's not just unprofessional.
Yep.
That's that's like
immoral.
wickedness.
Yes, right.
That is wickedness of complicity and
Yep.
enabling some of the worst stuff. And if that kid who drove that car on that video winds up dead on a couch,
or in a car accident,
in despair when they lose their skills at skateboarding, and they're left high and dry by all of these sycophants who were yes-manning them along the whole time, just using that kid's talent to sell Supreme and to sell, you know, all these things. That's inexcusable. And as the skateboarding public, we ought to care about that sort of thing. We ought to feel compelled to discuss the corruption of youth by corporate, you know, it's so dark and evil, and this is actually some of the least of the most important things we should be discussing. But I feel like I'm introducing us to looking at things a little more deeply, a little more, you know, all of this said, I'm a cracked pot too. But this isn't really about me.
No.
This is about bigger ideas that we ought to be really making the foreground of the way we filter and evaluate our alliances and our alignments in life. And you know, that's
I think
that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I know, it's good. And I think the distinction that you're making about, like, there is doing evil things and there is being complicit while evil things happen, either inside of your domain of influence or under your watch. You know what I mean? Like, and both are equally evil in different ways. So the excuse, like, well, I didn't really, you know, I saw that happening, but you know, I didn't really do anything about it because it's not really my responsibility. Like, well, maybe it was, you know, maybe it really was.
I recently saw someone who wrote a think piece, a pretty well written, good think piece about how, like, you know, opiate addiction. Well, I never saw it. I never saw it my whole life. I grew up in an area of the country where there was no opiate addiction, and none of the guys I knew did that. And I thought, well, that's lovely.
Yeah, good for you.
Sounds great. But now what are you going to do?
Yeah,
because it's been killing. You know, I think that the degree of serious-mindedness that we are dealing with in our podcast, it is actually for everyone. Just it's you know,
enter your own
peril. Right. Yeah, exactly. And enter at the peril of your own 15-year-old. This has been the CapmLew podcast, brought to you. We are proudly associated with Life Skateboards.
True that.
And we are grateful for the support of Zeppelin Aero Works. We've got a Zeppelin board on the behind us over there, behind the Life Skateboard. We're looking forward to seeing what Everything Skateboarding Magazine is doing. We've got some haps on the horizon. But I'm telling you, get on lifeskateboard.com and go get yourself 3 Life skateboards. I bet that's under $200.
I bet it is.
Maybe $250.
Yeah, it's
might be $250.
But it's well worth it.
It is well worth it.
100%. You know what's funny? Quickly, the question that is the title of this, or well, the question, who is responsible for the downfall of Antweun Dixon? The answer is
we all are. We all are.
Yes.
We all are.
Yeah, 100%.
How many of us ever wrote a letter to a brand and said, why aren't you giving that guy some feedback?
Yep.
I never did.
Nope.
It's my fault too.
Yep.
There we go. And with that, we leave you off on the Spotify.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in. High quality on Spotify. Love to you.
Laters.